The Last Stand of World War II, a tale of defiance and defeat in Prague. Hey everyone, if you're hooked on thrilling historical tales filled with drama, courage, and unexpected twists, make sure to hit that subscribe button and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your input makes these stories even better. Today, I'm taking you deep into the final days of World War II in Europe, focusing on the fate of three SS divisions: Reich, Viking, and Walloon, who defied surrender to the Soviet Red Army. Imagine it's May 1945. World War II, the deadliest conflict in human history, is finally drawing to a close after 6 grueling years. Europe is in ruin, cities reduced to rubble, millions of lives lost, entire nations scarred. Nazi Germany, once a terrifying powerhouse, is on its last legs. On the 8th of May 1945, Germany officially surrenders. But even as the world breathes a sigh of relief, a few stubborn Nazi units refuse to give up. Among them are the remnants of 3 elite SS divisions: Reich, Viking, and Walloon. Their story plays out in Prague, a city that becomes the stage for one of the war's final, most dramatic showdowns. This is a saga of rebellion, betrayal, and a desperate last stand. It's about ordinary folks standing up to tyranny, soldiers facing impossible odds, and the clash of ideologies in the heart of Europe. The Prague Uprising in May 1945 wasn't just a footnote, it was a moment that showcased the unbreakable human spirit and the cost of fanaticism. Let's dive into what happened, why it matters, and what we can take away from it today. The Prague Uprising. A city fights back. By early May 1945, Prague is a tinderbox. Czechoslovakia, under Nazi occupation since 1939, has suffered years of brutal oppression. The so-called Protectorate of Bohemia and Moravia, as the Nazis dubbed it, was a place of fear and cruelty. Thousands were sent to concentration camps, hundreds executed for daring to resist. Yet the Czech people never lost hope. On the 5th of May, that hope explodes into action as Prague erupts in an anti-Nazi uprising. It starts small, but spreads like wildfire. Civilians, teachers, factory workers, students hit the streets, throwing up barricades and ripping down Nazi flags. They seize radio stations, broadcasting calls to fight back. The Czech underground, battered but unbowed, rallies to resist. This isn't just a military revolt, it's a people's rebellion, a cry for freedom after years of suffering. The Nazis, desperate to cling to their crumbling empire, send in regular Wehrmacht troops and the battered remnants of 3 SS divisions: Reich, Viking, and Walloon. These units, once the pride of Hitler's war machine, are now shadows of their former selves, decimated by years of fighting on the Eastern Front. But their leaders, steeped in Nazi ideology, are ready to fight to the bitter end. A shocking betrayal. Allies turn enemies, things spiral out of control for the Germans. The uprising gains steam, and the Soviet Red Army is closing in on Prague. But the real shocker comes from an unexpected source: their own allies. A group of Russian collaborators, known as the Committee for the Liberation of the Peoples of Russia, led by General Andrei Vlasov, suddenly switches sides. These soldiers, who had been fighting for Germany against the Soviets, see the writing on the wall and join the Czech rebels. For a few days, these troops fight alongside the Czechs, holding barricades and attacking German positions. It's a stunning betrayal that throws the Nazi command into chaos. Their own allies, people they counted on, are now their enemies. But this alliance is short-lived. As soon as they hear the Red Army is approaching, the collaborators flee, knowing the Soviets won't forgive their treason. This twist adds even more chaos to an already desperate situation. Germany surrender, and a chaotic retreat. On the 8th of May 1945, the news hits: Germany has surrendered. The Third Reich is finished. Across Europe, people celebrate, but in Prague, the fight is far from over. German Field Marshal Ferdinand Schörner, in charge of Army Group Center, tries to negotiate with the Czechoslovak National Council. He wants to pull his troops out of Prague and surrender to the Americans, who are closer than the Soviets. Schörner knows the Red Army having witnessed the Nazis' atrocities, won't be in a merciful mood. The German retreat from Prague turns into a frantic scramble. As they flee, the Red Army rolls into the city on the 9th of May. The streets burst with joy. Tanks and trucks rumble through, covered in lilac flowers tossed by grateful Czechs. People wave, shout victory, and cheer wildly. One Prague resident later recalled, when the Soviet column stopped, one soldier pulled out an accordion and started playing. His buddies danced right there in the street. It was like hope itself had come to life. But for the SS divisions Reich, Viking, and Walloon, this is no time for celebration. Led by SS Lieutenant General Karl Friedrich von Puckler-Berghaus, they're determined to reach the American lines. Puckler-Berghaus has a dark past. Since January 1942, he served as a senior SS and police leader in Central Russia, and from May 1943, he commanded the 15th SS Grenadier Division. Under his command, his units carried out brutal operations in Leningrad, Pskov, Smolensk, and Belarus, leaving a trail of destruction. He knows the Soviets will show no mercy, so he bets everything on escaping to the Americans. The final battle, Melin, Slivis, and Semelis. The SS troops head west, hoping to surrender to General George Patton's 3rd U.S. Army. They fight off Czech partisans along the way, inching closer to the American zone. By the 8th of May, they're almost there. But when they reach the Americans, they're hit with a harsh reality. Patton's forces, aware of the SS's war crimes, refuse to accept their surrender. Turn yourselves in to the Soviets, they're told. For Puckler-Berghaus and his men, this is a death sentence. They know the Red Army won't spare war criminals responsible for countless atrocities. Cornered and desperate, the SS dig in for a last stand near the villages of Melin, Slivis, and Semelis. Using the rugged terrain, they build trenches, fortify positions, and bury their last tanks and artillery in the ground, creating a makeshift fortress. But their luck runs out. Soviet scouts, led by Captain Evgeny Olesinski and backed by local Czech partisans, spot the German camp. A quick attack follows, but the SS fight back fiercely, forcing the scouts to retreat after taking losses. On the 11th of May, the Red Army brings down the hammer. The 2nd Mechanized Corps, under Lieutenant General Karp Sviridov, launches a massive assault, supported by the 112th Guards Fighter Aviation Regiment. The Germans fight with the desperation of the doomed, but they're outmatched. In a surprising twist, American troops from the 4th Armored Division of the 12th Corps, 3rd U.S. Army, join the fight, backing the Soviets. The battle rages all day. Finally, after a barrage from Soviet rocket launchers, the Germans start to break. At 3 in the morning, on the 12th of May 1945, in a mill called Rakovice, Puckler-Berghaus signs the Act of Surrender. Soviet General Major Ivan Fedotovich Sergin, commander of the 104th Guards Rifle Division, and Colonel Stafford Leroy Irwin, Chief of Staff of the 4th Armored Division, sign on behalf of their forces. Around 6,000 German soldiers are taken prisoner. Puckler-Berghaus, unwilling to face justice for his crimes, takes his own life in a bunker. Aftermath. A bitter end and lasting memory. The Battle of Slivis marks the final clash of World War II in Europe. The Soviets lose 56 soldiers and officers, while the Czech resistance suffers 46 casualties. But some SS troops refuse to accept defeat. Grabbing their weapons, they flee into the forests near the Kamwald military range. For the rest of May, Czech partisans hunt them down. Those caught face swift justice. Years of Nazi brutality have left little room for mercy. In 1970, a monument designed by architect Vaclav Hilsk is unveiled in Slivis to honor those who fought. Near Semelis, another memorial stands with an inscription. On this spot, on the 9th of May 1945, the American Army halted the retreat of German forces. With the participation of American, Soviet, and German military representatives, the final surrender of World War II in Europe was signed here on the 12th of May 1945. Reflections, the human cost of war. This isn't just a story about battles and tactics, it's about people. The SS, led by men like Poklar Berghaus, chose a path of destruction and paid the ultimate price. The Czechs, Soviets, and even Americans who fought together showed what unity and courage can achieve. It's a reminder that even in the darkest times, ordinary people can rise to extraordinary heights. Looking back, the cost of World War II is staggering. Over 70 million people died, entire economies collapsed, and cities were leveled. But from those ashes, a new world was built, one where freedom and resilience triumphed over tyranny. Today, we face our own challenges, global tensions, economic uncertainty, and climate crises. The lesson from Prague is clear: when we stand together, no obstacle is too big. Economic fallout, rebuilding a shattered continent. World War II left Europe in tatters. According to historians, the economic damage was in the trillions of dollars in today's terms. Czechoslovakia lost over 30% of its industrial capacity. The Soviet Union fared even worse, with around 70% of factories and infrastructure in occupied areas destroyed. Germany's economy was obliterated, its cities bombed to dust. Recovery took decades. The U.S. led Marshall Plan, starting in 1948, pumped billions into Western Europe, including Czechoslovakia, to rebuild industries and infrastructure. The Soviet Union, rejecting the plan, focused on its own reconstruction, prioritizing heavy industry and military strength. These efforts shaped the modern world, but also set the stage for the Cold War, as East and West drifted apart. The story of Prague's last stand is more than a chapter in a history book. It's a testament to the power of resistance and the price of freedom. As we navigate our own turbulent times, let's draw inspiration from those who stood up against impossible odds. Their sacrifices remind us to stay vigilant, united, and committed to a better future. Hey, if this story got your heart racing or made you think, hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below. Tell me what struck you most, maybe the Czechs' bravery, the SS's desperation, or the unexpected alliance between Soviets and Americans. Your feedback fuels more stories like this, so let's keep the conversation going.